What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'm actually doing another comparison review, and both of the beers come from the Bell's Brewery, and they're out of both Kalamazoo and Comstock, Michigan, and we have their Expedition Stout and the Bourbon Barrel Aged Expedition Stout. Both of these are the 2018 vintages. So Expedition Stout is a Russian Imperial Stout that comes in at 10.5% alcohol by volume, 78 IBUs, and at the time of review, this bottle is approximately 2.5 months old. Meanwhile, the Bourbon Barrel Aged Expedition Stout is the base Expedition Stout, aged in bourbon barrels for 1 year, comes in at 13.4% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed, and at the time of review, this bottle is approximately 5 weeks old, give or take a few days. So it's Black Friday. So if you're a craft beer enthusiast like myself, you might be out and about looking for some Goose Island Bourbon County brand stout. Maybe there is a Black Friday release from a local brewery that you want to check out. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a good time. For me, when it came to choosing what review I wanted to do for Black Friday, I was thinking about maybe busting out a Bourbon County vintage and doing that, but I decided against that. And that's because this beer specifically, the Bourbon Barrel Aged Expedition Stout, has been getting rave reviews from almost everybody I know, whether it's here on YouTube or on Untapped or here locally in the Western New York area. A lot of people going nuts about it. Fellow beer tuber Brad Allison went to the brewery last month and picked up, I think, a 4-pack, maybe a couple 4-packs, and he did a review on it. He was loving it. A couple Untapped friends who also happen to be viewers of my channel, Sadiq and Jeff, aka No Jinx, they both have posted their Untapped check-ins, and they're just loving this beer. In fact, I think Sadiq said he bought another 4-pack, and why wouldn't you when he is only paying, I think he said $23 a 4-pack. This single bottle cost me $7.99. So I believe Sadiq's in Georgia, so he's basically getting about a $10 break on the price, and I can't even buy a 4-pack of this. I think it was, I don't know if it was limited, but they didn't actually come 4-packs, those single bottles. I guess you probably could, but you're talking $32 for a 4-pack, and I'm just not into it. But anyway, I thought this would be a cool comparison to do. Now, the Expedition Stout, I've had numerous times, both fresh and aged. I prefer it aged, but it's a great beer. I want to give a shout out to a fellow beer tuber and a good friend of mine, Paul over at PA Brew News. He actually just reviewed Sierra Nevada's Narwhal, and he called that a Hallmark Imperial Stout. Actually, a Hallmark beer in general, but a Hallmark Imperial Stout. He mentioned that. He mentioned Yeti from Great Divide and Old Rasputin from North Coast. And I would put this beer in the same realm. When it comes to Imperial Stouts, whether it's a more American born and bred or a Russian Imperial Stout, I think Expedition Stout's one of those classic beers. At least for me, it's always well made, and it ages extremely well, and it's just tasty, and it doesn't get any hype anymore. This beer's been out for a couple months now, and there's tons of it on the shelf, and you don't have to, fight anybody to get any bottles, and it's a delicious beer in my opinion. So when I saw that they had the barrel-aged version, people going nuts about it, I was like, I gotta grab this. I love Bell's Black Note, which is a mix of this and their special double cream stout aged in bourbon barrels. That's an awesome beer. I've had so many different vintages of that. So I like what Bell's does when it comes to their barrel aging. So I'm hoping that this one is delicious. It's funny that this is almost 3% higher than the base beer. I know it goes into barrels and you're going to gain some ABV, but almost 3% makes me think they're very wet barrels. So I don't know. I'm quite excited. Anyway, enough of the quacking. Let me crack these open, get them into the glasses, and see what we got going on. So I also have, I think, a 2015 or 16 vintage in my cellar of this beer. That I will need to check out at some point, honestly. Well, we're going to move this out of the way, just do a quick proper pour here. Using the Takus, I don't know. Probably use whatever you want. We're only going to pour a little bit, and we don't need to get crazy, you know what I mean? So we'll throw that over there. I always do this in comparison. I always put the mother effing bottle opener off screen, and I'm like, wait, I got to open another one. I'm an idiot. You guys know that. No big deal. Man, they are pouring out jet black. Pretty similar, maybe a little bit more of the barrel-aged, but you know what I'm saying? Barrel-aged is where it's at. Okay, so the beers, very similar. Pitch black, no light getting through. Pretty much a straight-up brown-colored head. Get a little bit of a swirl here going for both of them. I think the head's a little bit bigger on the Expedition. Tons of alcohol legs on both of them. Into the light. Yeah, they look the same. They look gorgeous. Let's get a nose on the Expedition. I just like the creaminess to the head of this. I mean, it's just sticking. Oh my Lord. It's a beautiful looking beer. Now these are both cellar temp, probably around 63, 64, 65 degrees, somewhere in that range. So appropriate, Paul. Just tons of deep, dark roasted malts in this one. Dark fruits as well. Getting like a dark cherry into a raisin. Definitely some, there's like a leathery component to this one. I don't get like leather and tobacco in a ton of Imperial Stouts, but there are certain ones that I do get that in, and Expedition is one of them. Not so much of like a pipe tobacco. It's more of to the leather side of things. A little bit of char. It's not barrel aged, but there's a little bit of char. I think it's just how the malts, how deeply roasted they are. Maybe a touch of like a marshmallow. Yeah, tinges of like vanilla and a marshmallow. I just love the complexity of Expedition, honestly. It just smells so gorgeous. Yeah, that's an awesome smelling beer. So put that over here and we'll get into the bourbon barrel aged Expedition Stout. Yeah, huge difference. A lot of barrel on this one. Ooh, peppery bourbon. There's a bigger blast of vanilla, a little bit of like char from it. Now, like this one had char in it, but this one has like oak char to it. You can definitely tell the difference. At least I can right now as I'm smelling them side by side. Yeah, this one, big barrel presence. It doesn't smell like overly boozy on the nose, but it's definitely present and you can smell it and you know that it's barrel aged. Underlying sweeter dark chocolates, like a Hershey dark chocolate and special dark chocolate, like a sweeter dark chocolate as opposed to like a 60-70% cacao bar. That leathery note and like the real deeply dark roasted malts getting a little bit lost in here. I still am getting like that dark cherry, little bit of raisin, more like a figgy thing going on as well. Dark fruits are a bit more present in this beer, which is weird because this one usually has huge dark fruit notes and that's not as big as it is in this one. I like the complexity of this right now a bit better. Again, I always prefer this one aged, but fresh I like it too, but aged is where this beer just melds into something beautiful. I'm preferring the bourbon barrel aged version right now based on the nose. Anyway, they both smell absolutely delicious. This one is my preference on the nose, but we're going to try the base one first. So cheers, everybody. So tasty. Yeah, this one. I got to go back for one more quick sip. Hang on. First off, this lets you know it's a big beer. Fresh, this does have some boost to it. As some people like to say, it's hot. Definitely present. You know it's a bigger beer. But when you first sip it, the one thing that blows me away is the body. It's big, it's viscous, it's rich. Paul is not a bit thin. I don't think this beer is thin. I think it's straight on full bodied. It's almost borderline syrupy. It's beautiful. The mouthfeel is so creamy and smooth and soft. There's carbonation here, but it's on the lighter side. But it's not like a barrel-aged beer that oxidized and lost carbonation, so it's flat. It's done so well. Yeah, so the actual flavors, really deep dark chocolate. Now this is like 70-80% cacao bar in this one. More of that leather, a little bit of that pipe tobacco coming out as well that I didn't get on the nose. It definitely has a very dry finish to it from that alcohol. So this, while it's sweet up front, on the finish, it finishes way more to the dry side to kind of dry everything out, balance out that sweetness, makes it infinitely more drinkable. I wish there was a little less dryness to this beer. It is a bit too dry for me in general, but as is, this is beautiful. So like I said, there's definitely dark fruits in here, not as prominent as in the nose of that one or even the nose of this one, but there's a little bit of that dark cherry raisin thing going on. But dark chocolate, caramel, as well as popping up. Yeah, this one, there's even like a herbaceous tone to this one too, which is really nice. Maybe it's a little bit of the hop character because it is fresh. That's why I do prefer it aged. The hop character kind of dies out. It doesn't drink like a black IPA or black double IPA or anything. It just has a little bit more hop character to it. That said, this is drinking extremely well, even just at 2.5 months old. Let me cleanse the palate here, and we'll get into the bourbon barrel aged version. Yeah, Paul, I took that water right to the head. What you gonna do about it? All right, cheers, everybody. This is fucking delicious. Holy shit. Jesus. First things I'm going to say is at 10.5%, this has more of a noticeable booze component than this one. A lot of people, and when I'm talking about this, like feeling it on the palate. And I'm probably going to feel this more into the chest and down in the stomach as I continue to drink it. But on the palate, this had like a, I'll say like a, it had like an ethanol alcohol. Like it's not fusel. It's just, you can know it's there. It's not distracting, but it's like, oh man, this is a bigger beer. When I drink this, I know it's a bigger beer because of the bourbon. But at the same time, it's not distracting at all. And I really don't feel it on the palate. It's still pretty viscous. If this is full body, this is like medium full body. So I'm fine with the bodies on these. The mouthfeel is very similar. It has thinned out a bit because of the barrel treatment, but since it's already a big, thick, sticky Imperial Stout, it didn't thin it out enough to be, it's noticeable, but not enough to matter for me. Someone like Paul would probably just, you know, like knock 75 points off of this beer. The barrel is there, but it's well integrated with the rest of the beer. Tons, and I mean tons of vanilla on it. If you like vanilla off of your barrel-aged beers, this is the beer for you. There's a lot of vanilla. There's a decent amount of char from the oak. There's sweeter caramel, toffee, almost butterscotchy vibes to this one, along with a sweeter dark chocolate. Like I said, the Hershey Special Dark Chocolate. When I mean that, I don't mean the quality of Hershey Special Dark Chocolate. I'm talking about just the sweetness of that dark chocolate. If you take a Hershey's Dark Chocolate bar or a Special Dark Chocolate, whatever, you know, you can buy them in Hershey Kisses or the bar itself, you compare it to like a 60% cacao bar, you'll tell the difference right away. And I think you'll have pretty good understanding of what I'm trying to explain here. This is scary drinkable. So this is my preference right now between the fresh and aged. I do think if this one was aged, if I did have a 2017, I think it'd be tough to pick. As far as these beers are concerned, I will say this. This is still a very tasty and delicious Russian Imperial Stout. I do wish it was a little bit more complex fresh, and I do wish there was a little bit less of a bitterness if fresh. I do know that ages out, again, having different vintages, and I like this beer with a year or two on it for sure. So it's a little bit, I'll say harsh, but maybe a little bit harsh fresh. The barrel treatment, though, has kind of gotten rid of that harshness. It has added and integrated the barrel from the bourbon. And it just, this is a beautiful beer. Now, rating wise, I am going to give Expedition Stout, the base 2018, relatively fresh vintage, a 4.25 out of 5. I was debating 4.25, 4.5. Thing is when this is fresh, I give this like around aged, I give this around a 4 or 5. So I can't go that high. Regardless, 4.25 is really, really high considering that this is just a regular old Russian Imperial Stout and it's relatively fresh. So, you know, that's a pretty good grade. This beer, though, is the winner of the two, and it's not going to get a 5 out of 5. The reason for that is a little bit, again, I said the body really didn't detract at all, but a 5 out of 5 for me is like kind of perfect in almost every aspect. It is a bit thinner than this one. I would like to see a touch bigger body. It doesn't mean that this body is inappropriate in any way whatsoever. Just for me, I'm nitpicking now because I'm not going to give this a 5 out of 5, but I'm going to give it a 4.75 out of 5 because this is a fucking phenomenal barrel-aged stout. Is it worth $8 a 12-ounce bottle? Yes, to try once. I do know that Eric over Eric Alliance fan is sending me an extra bottle to age, and I do appreciate Eric, so thank you very much. So I'm going to sit that one down for a year or two and revisit it at some point. But if you can get this, and most of you who see Bell's, you should be able to get this, grab a bottle, maybe 2 of it, drink one fresh and age it. I think this is super delicious. Now, I don't usually mention ratings from like Untapped or Beer Advocate or Rate Beer. Untapped, this gets a 4.55 out of 5, the 2018 vintage of this beer. That's like A+ world class on Untapped. That's extremely high. And now I see and understand why Sadiq and Jeff and Brad went nuts about this beer, because it is fucking delicious. This is a delicious beer. And if somebody out there doesn't like it, I'm going to be surprised. Maybe they don't think it's the best beer ever, but it's still really delicious. And you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to do anything crazy. This showed up pretty much everywhere around here, and I went a couple days after it showed up, and a lot of places still have bottles. So yeah, anyway, 4.25 out of 5 for the base Expedition Stout, 4.75 out of 5 for the bourbon barrel aged version. Both of them are the 2018 vintages. I highly recommend you guys trying to do this for yourself and see what you think. It was a cool experiment. Again, this is my preferred beer, but this is still pretty delicious as well. So appreciate you guys stopping by for another comparison review. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving and you're enjoying yourself here on Black Friday, because I know I am. Anyway, till the next one, double fist and cheers. Oh, hang on. Wait, hang on. Do we do a cuvée? We do a cuvée? We're gonna do a cuvée. Can never not do a cuvée. Come on, you can never not do a cuvée. Let's just do a quick one. Getting more of the actual base Expedition. Let me get into the taste. Kind of mellowed out the barrel from here. Kind of mellowed out like the tobacco-y, leathery, little bit of bitterness from this one. Nice cuvée. Cuvée. I give this a 4.5 out of 5, right in between the two. Better than the base, not as good as the barrel. But yeah, I'd highly recommend trying this out too. Still prefer this by itself though. Anyway, now we're leaving. Cheers.